There we go.
And Mike, when we call for the vote, I'm going to ask you to just say it loud and clear.
Okay.
Are we good on your end? Okay. All right. So I'm going to bring us back into regular session. And what I'd like to do just for the record is to just do another roll call vote. So we have that included. Yes, because we have Mr. Peterson with us. So just to review the roll call, Mrs. Helland?
Here.
Mr. Reward?
Here.
Colonel Peterson?
Here.
And the chair, Tim Geithner, is here. So we now have 4 members in attendance. If we could move on to our action items. Bear with me.
I have too many things.
Action item, which is item number 13. I'm going to exercise some chair privilege here. We have A through K. Just recognizing that Mr. Peterson is on a time crunch, I'm going to prioritize the vote for item J, which is Principal CEO offer as the first piece of action. So at this point, if I could get a motion regarding item J, I would appreciate that.
I move to extend an offer of school leader to Talbot Binkin.
Very good. And if I could get a second?
I will second.
Okay, let's do a roll call vote. Moving forward with an offer to Talbot Benkin as the principal CEO. Mrs. Helland?
Yeah. Yes.
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 Colonel Peterson?
Yes.
Very good. And Mrs. Reward?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes as well. That is a unanimous vote. We will get that extended offer to Mr. Talbot Benkin. Colonel Peterson, if you need to hang with us, you can. If you need to disengage, it's your call.
Oh, I appreciate that. I'm going to have to run to another meeting, but thank you.
Very good. Well, I appreciate you being here with us for that, and we're going to go ahead and hang up the phone now.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity.
Very good. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Let the record reflect that we are now, for our quorum, we are still meeting quorum with 3 members in attendance. Let's go ahead and pick up with item A. Item A is adopting of our meeting minutes for April 18th. Can I get a motion for the adoption of April 18th minutes?
I move to adopt the April 18th meeting minutes.
Very good. Can I get a second?
A second.
And any objection? Seeing no objection, we have adopted our April 20th. Thank you. Very good. Our April 20th meeting minutes.
Let's redo that. Let's make
Okay.
an amended motion because I think
Okay.
we said
Go
the
ahead.
date and the date was wrong.
That's fine.
I move to adopt the an amended motion to adopt the April 20th motion or minutes.
Second.
I second.
Very good. And any objection? Seeing no objection, we have an amended vote and clarifying that it was actually April 20th, not April 18th. All right, let's move on to item B, which is a vote to adopt meeting minutes for May 2nd. I know that date is right. If I could get a second for the May 2nd.
I second.
I'm sorry, a motion for the May 2nd.
I second.
Oh, you need a motion. Can you move to adopt the May 2nd meeting?
I move to adopt the May 2nd meeting minutes.
Very good.
Sorry.
We're going to get there. We're going to. And a second?
Oh, yeah, I second.
Very good. Any objection? No objection. Very good. We have
No.
adopted our meeting minutes for May 2nd. All right, let's move on to item C, which is a vote to authorize the initial steps for the Parent Engagement Committee. If we need to elaborate a little bit on that for the record, Mrs. Helland, I would look to you to kind of offer some clarification on what that means in terms of authorize the PEC and members.
So I would vote to authorize a PEC committee here at LTA. I would vote that we have one board member. I strike that. I'm going to withdraw my motion.
Okay.
Can we have discussion?
Yeah.
I motion to open this for discussion. Can we do that?
Second.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yes.
I think what we need to do is I think we need to move to authorize PEC and move to authorize a board member to be in charge of that on a committee basis. I would propose that it be a current member of the board and then one of the incoming parent members would be the second member of that.
Okay.
and then work alongside Miss Bennett and Miss Palmer
Okay.
in getting that set up and working on getting the bylaws.
I'm good with that. Do I have a volunteer to?
I can do that.
You'll
Okay.
do the PEC committee?
Very
Okay.
good. That's great. Okay.
All right.
I mean, I like that discussion. I'm fine with that motion.
Okay, so let me remake the motion
the,
then.
The only piece before we move forward is the board comfortable prioritizing adoption of the bylaws for our June meeting, which we
Yes.
will name here shortly.
Yes.
Is that good?
Yes.
Okay. So then that's what we'll do. We'll prioritize adoption of those bylaws, but this at least allows us to initiate. Amber, or does that make sense? Are we doing this correctly?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Go ahead.
I'm wondering if it went to that one email, Amber.
Okay.
I will resend them.
I'm in communication and I don't see. Okay.
Okay.
I'll resend them.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. So let's have a motion
Okay.
on.
I will make the motion now.
Very good.
Okay.
Thank you.
I motion to amend the authorization of PEC and to appoint Raylene as the board member that will be on that committee from the board. And then one of our new members in October, one of the parent voted members, will be the second member of that, to work in conjunction with Miss Bennett and Stephanie, I think it's Spalmer. I might have the wrong last name there, to get that going and get the bylaws to be a priority for the next meeting.
Okay. And a second? I will second.
Okay.
Since you're named in the motion. Any objection to the motion as stated? Seeing no objection. That's very good. Let's move on to vote to adopt the financial report. Now, I may need some clarification from my fellow members here. I wonder if we can do both in one vote, or do we need to do separate votes? Both? No, because I have to sign something.
Separate.
Correct, Ms. Miller?
Separate.
Sign that, so we're going to do two separate votes as it is listed out on the agenda. Okay, very good. So let's do item D, which is a vote to adopt the financial report. If I can motion.
I motion to adopt the financial report.
Okay. And a second. Is there any objection? Seeing no objection, we have adopted our financial report. Let's move on to item E, which is a vote to adopt the Building Corp financials. If I could get a.
Whoa. You forgot the budget.
Isn't that that's what we just did? Was the
We did the financial report.
Right. That's what it says. Item D, financial report. It's not a budget. It's just
I'm
a report.
looking at the wrong one.
Okay.
We have this board resolution.
Correct. That is for purposes of the Building Corp.
Okay.
Correct, Ms. Miller?
Correct.
Correct.
The certificate is for the building corp. There is a resolution for the consolidated view of both.
Got it.
So once the building corp is approved, then we do the consolidated.
Then we have to do this consolidated. Have
So
you
then
seen
let's do
Amber?
this.
I need to see the actual resolution. I'm going to try to pull it up here for a
Okay.
second.
Let's go ahead and I'm going to put us in a brief recess.
Okay.
And we'll come back
Okay. Let's
when
do
we
that
come back. So we'll just stand in a brief recess.
for 10 minutes. We are back.
Okay, so I'm going to take us out of recess. And again, I'm going to exercise some chair privilege here and reorganize the next vote. We are making some final tweaks to a resolution as it pertains to the building corp and financials. So I'm going to table item E for the moment. I will bring that to the end after item I. Let's do that. Okay. Let's move on to item F, which is a vote to adopt the X8 global contract. If I could get a second.
I'd like,
Okay.
can we amend that?
Well, we haven't made a motion yet.
Oh, okay.
So
You said,
you-
can I get a second?
No, I should have said, can I get a motion to adopt the X8 global contract?
All right.
Let's go ahead and move into, actually, before we do that, let's do a little bit of discussion. I'll open it up for discussion. And then we can, if we need to,
On X8?
do we need to flag anything, or are you ready to make a motion?
I'm ready.
You're ready. Okay, so then let's make a motion. If I could get a motion
I will make it.
to adopt the X8 global contract.
I will make a motion to adopt the X8 global contract and for the payment of such to come from reserve.
Correct. Okay, I like that piece.
And will be included in an amended budget as a line item.
Later, yes. All right, can I have a second?
Second.
All right, any objection to adopting the X8 global contract and including the amended budget item for the the next June meeting, which we haven't labeled yet.
You need to sign it.
Okay, gotcha. And without objection, that is adopted. Can I sign it like right now?
Yep.
Okay. There we go. All right, let's move on to votes to adopt the 23-24 calendar as amended. Could I have a motion, please? Okay.
I move to adopt the 23-24 calendar. as
Amended.
And a second?
A second?
Any objection to adopting the 23-24 academic calendar as amended? Seeing no objection, we have adopted an amended calendar. Moving on to item H, if I could have a motion to adopt the school leader evaluation process for the 23-24 academic year.
I vote to adopt the school leader evaluation process.
And a second?
I second.
Very good. Any objection to adopting the the school leader evaluation process for the 23-24 academic year? Seeing no objection. Adopted. Let's move on to, I think now that brings us back to E, which would
I.
be, nope, we already did
We did the process.
got it. Okay. Sorry. May I have a motion to adopt the interim principal evaluation 22-23 academic year?
I'll do it.
Okay.
I move to adopt the interim principal evaluation 22-23 academic year.
Very good. And a second?
Second?
Okay. And any objection to the adoption of the interim principal evaluation for the 22-23 academic year?
No.
Seeing no objection. Very good. And then finally, that brings us back to the resolution that is currently being tweaked. Amber, have you sent that already, or do you still need another moment?
No, yeah. Sorry, I just need 1 second. I just want to put the statute in there
That's fine. Take your
if I
time.
can.
Actually, while we're doing that, let's item 14 is announcements. I think we need to figure out as a board our June meeting. So if we could look at calendars, that would be helpful, because I know right now it says we don't have a June meeting, but we have too much work to not.
The 15th would be the third Thursday.
15th, yeah, I don't see that as a holiday or anything like that. Let's see, where are members? What do you think of?
I'm okay with that date.
Okay. I would still appreciate if we could do an evening at 6:30 because of work. I realize that school is
Yeah.
not necessarily in session, but we're going to need.
6:30 is fine. I'm in
Okay.
court that day, so hopefully I will be out in time.
Okay, you're good with 6:30 as
Yep.
well? Okay. So let's go ahead and schedule the next school meeting. And Mrs. Moore, since you're here, if we can make sure that that's posted to the website, that we'll do our next school board meeting on June 15th, which is the third Thursday. So that's actually going to come kind of quickly, I guess, at 6:30 p.m. And we'll do it here at LTA. But if we can get that on the website under the board piece, that would be helpful. All right. Amber, how you doing?
I am finished. I'm emailing it now.
Okay. Is there any other announcements while we're
Graduation tomorrow. 2 o'clock.
graduation tomorrow?
Let's keep harping on that.
They're working on those programs right now.
Folding.
Folding, yes. For a spare minute, she said.
Okay. Okay.
Something for June's meeting.
For June's meeting?
Oh, we do have a secretary. He's just not here.
Yeah. So
Why am I doing all this?
I'll
Wait.
communicate to Mike and Mike our June
Yeah.
date for the 15th at 6:30, just so that they have that. In fact, yeah, let me do that later. I think he's in the middle of a service right now. Disrupt him.
We can make them virtual too if we need to.
We could. I don't know. What's the thoughts on that? We can figure that out. Virtual, in person? You're indifferent?
I know I'm gonna be here, so. I
Okay.
can do
I can do either.
in person,
Okay.
so,
Whatever. Just
Okay.
whatever makes it easier for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
No decision made on virtual or in person yet, but sounds like there's appetite.
Clean. Okay.
Okay, so let's do.
I don't think that's the right
There's
one.
a-
Amber.
Clean one. There's a clean one, and then there's a red line version. So you have both.
All
I
right.
sent you two.
So I think what you.
I'm going to read it.
Yeah, into the
Okay.
record as a motion,
Yep.
and then we can move forward with the second.
I move to adopt the board resolution dated May 19th, 2023 that reads as follow. Resolution to approve the Liberty Tree Academy 2023-24 Uniform Budget Summary for publication in accordance with CRS 2244-300. Be it resolved that Liberty Tree Academy Board of Education in El Paso County approves the 2023-2024 Liberty Tree Academy Uniform Budget Summary to reflect the building corporation's budget as presented during the May 19th, 2023 board meeting. This resolution appropriates $8,215,106,000 in funding for total expenses with a projected ending fund balance of $4,164,838 in June 2024.
Very good. If I could get a second.
A second.
Very good. Is there any objection to the resolution for May 19th, 2023? Seeing no objection, we have adopted that. I can get signatures on that and get that back to you, Ms. Miller.
Today,
Yes, today. As long as you have the ability to print.
I have the ability to
Very
print.
good. Okay. So I think that brings us through all of our action items, which I'm going to cross off. We are announcements. We've already announced our next meeting for the 15th of June at 6:30. Do either of you have any announcements that you would like to make, need to make? No? Okay. I'm going to exercise a little bit of privilege here and just say, starting off with the idea, this board has worked very hard in this principal hiring process. I'm excited to move forward with an offer. Mrs. Helland, tremendous help. I think, I don't
A
know,
lot of time on the
60,
phone.
80 hours, I think, into this process over the last little bit. That's no joke, between interviews and everything else. Obviously, executive session. There was quite a bit of effort, and I feel good with the place where we are in terms of an offer. So I at least wanted to acknowledge the board's work and specifically Mrs. Helens on that piece. And then finally, I know that we had 2 finalists that we named. We've obviously put
3.
forward, 3 finalists, correct. I'm sorry. 3 finalists that we named. We are moving forward with obviously an offer to Mr. Talbot Bacon, but I don't want it to go unnoticed. The role of Mr. Manley since he's joined LTA. Mr. Manley has this board's full confidence. This is not a reflection on his capabilities or anything of that nature. We are excited to work with Mr. Manley. We look forward to the opportunity to have that partnership too between Mr. Benkin and Mr. Manley and Mrs. Moore as well. But I just wanted to make sure that, those that might be tuning in for the purposes of those in the room and for the preservation of this record, which is available on YouTube, that was made known. So anyways, without anything else from me, graduation tomorrow, I will be here as no later than 1:30, and if you're going to join us as well. But with that, I move that we adjourn the May 19th meeting. Any objection? Seeing no objection, we are adjourned.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Carley.